What's up, everybody? Hope all is well with you on this beautiful Saturday. We had a hot spell. I'm sorry, we had a cold spell earlier this week, but today it seems like it's turning out to be okay. I am in Richmond, Virginia, and I am at a site that I tend to visit often when I do come down here. Um, and Richmond is special to me because through doing some genealogy research, I did find out that my Rice line as well as my Kizzy line, and those are two surnames, Rice and Kizzy. So if you have any Rice or Kizzy connections in the Carolinas or Tennessee, or not only the Carolinas and Tennessee, but in Virginia, get at me. Let me know. Um, Queen Ty, what's up? How you doing? Mystic Meemaw, what's up? How you doing? Always good to see you. But I am in Richmond, Virginia. I am going to be covering a community here as well as a burial ground. Not the one that I'm at, but I wanted to show you all this one. I'm going to turn this around so you all can see this memorial that's here. All right. As you see right here, in memory of African ancestors and symbolizing the spiritual resurrection of a liberated and inspired people. It looks like this was erected in 2017 by the African Ancestral Chamber. This right here is a place that the city has asked to not be used for recreational usage due to the fact that it's a sacred place. The Lumpkin Jail is over there. On this, on the stretch of road, the stretch of land rather, as well as a formerly enslaved home, a home for the formerly enslaved. And I'll walk over there so you all can see that. But this is on the slave trail here in Richmond, Virginia. It's a beautiful space. However, it definitely has a dark past. And depending on who you are and your ideology with history, this could seem like a very sad place. Yeah, I'm sorry. Can you hear now? That's my bad. I accidentally hit the button. What I was saying was, I'm always amazed at the humanity that still exists in a world to where everything is so individualized. When I come to these places of, you know, ceremony, if you will, I typically leave things whenever I come to these places. Unfortunately, today I don't have anything because I plan on being somewhere else before I came here. However, with this specific African burial ground along the slave trail here in Richmond, I wanted to show you all some of the things that have been left behind. So there's a cookie that's there. There's some gems that are there. There's food. There's different type of plants, species that are here. And we'll walk over here where people left a little bit more elaborate things. There's a turtle shell that's right there. There's a turtle shell. And just a lot of different offerings. There's some cloth, right? And this right here details the actual burial ground here in Richmond. And again, like I mentioned to you, this is along the Richmond Slave Trail. But you see the Sankofa is right there, right? Which inspired me. Which you all can see my Sankofa tattoo right there. So I definitely believe in that wholeheartedly, for sure. So if you've been to Shockoe Bottom, in some of these other areas here in Richmond, Virginia, hopefully you've seen this. This details a couple of other things that transpired. This ground right here for Negroes, 1750 to 1860. 1816 reclaimed as Richmond's African burial ground, is the oldest municipal cemetery for enslaved and free black known to have existed in the Richmond area, and may be among the oldest in the entire country. So that's what's being stated here. I'll walk over here so you all can see what else we have. And this has been here for a while. I've been coming to Richmond at least 2 to 3 times out the year, and always stop by to this site and check it out. So this is what we have. It's really a beautiful space. I'm glad that they've kept people off of it, at least to the best of their ability. So this is a historic burial ground here in Richmond, and it's also Lumpkin Slave Jail preservation site. And I'm going to walk over here so you all can get in on this history tour. And it looks like someone left some lemons. There's some peppers that are in there, and a couple of other things as well. Just want to show you all the backside of it. And so in the chat, if you have been to Richmond, or if you've been to this site, please let me know. Pan over one more time so you can check it out. Richmond's a city like a lot of cities that have been growing very quick. All right, so let's walk over here, which discusses a little bit more in depth about the burial ground. I don't know about you all, but whenever I come to these sites and I know that there's bodies on the ground or under under the surface, I'm always like tiptoeing. Like, yeah, I don't want to disturb anybody, but we gotta do what we gotta do. And there's plenty of signage that identifies what this is right there, Richmond Slave Trail. As you can see, the interstate runs right there. And then when we walk up here, give y'all another view, you'll see some details of Brother Gabriel, who was unfortunately murdered here in Richmond. And so this is homage to him. There's a historical marker for him as well, and I'll walk up and show you all that. Yep, check it out. So this is what I wanted to show you all. Richmond's first municipal African cemetery. So this was erected in 2023. It was a community effort to make sure that these sacred grounds of Shockoe Bottom were saved, and that they weren't developed upon like so many different historical sites that we have in the United States. It's very important that we continue to do such. And so I was glad to see this historical marker put up there, and this identifies the burial ground and the Lumpkin Slave Jail preservation site. And this is also what you will see when you come here. This is for the ancestors, this is for the descendants, this is for Gabriel, this is for Richmond, this is for us. And so to have community efforts put in place like this are very, very important, that we do those types of things. And when you walk up here, I won't go the whole way because it's really, really loud, but there's a historical marker straight ahead that talks about the execution of Gabriel, right? And so, hey, how y'all doing? Good, doing good, thanks. So I am going to keep on walking on the trail. Hang around if you would like, hopefully so. I have, okay, you say you've been to the one in New York. I got to get to that one. That's one I got to get to. For sure, I got to get to. Just been so busy. But there's a couple of other things I want you all to see. If you don't mind hanging around, or you can come check back in a little bit later. Again, the weather was great for this. I'm going to be with an archaeologist here soon, exploring the site here in Richmond to acknowledge some of the work that the community's been doing here in preserving and making sure that these souls are not lost in history, like we've seen so many times. And hopefully it's not too loud for you all, because the wind is blowing pretty tough. But boom, there we go again. And so we're gonna walk over here. As you all see, there's it's rumbling. It is right here in the city, in the center of the city. You got trains over there. You got a highway right here. A lot of transit happening right here in what is a sacred space. Hopefully you all Saturday has been good, relaxing. Hopefully you'll be able to recharge and take in some history for yourself. This definitely brings me joy. So we're gonna walk up here. Check this out. Lumpkin's Jail. Again, this is part of the Richmond Slave Trail. Lumpkin Jail was owned by Robert Lumpkin, who maximized profits in his compound by including lodging for slave traders, a slave holding facility, an auction house, and a residence for his family. A port city with water, ground, and rail connections, Richmond was linked to slave buying markets such as Charleston and New Orleans. Enslaved Africans referred to Lumpkin's Jail as the Devil's Half Acre. This is what they called it, the Devil's Half Acre, reflecting the despair and anger of people separated forever from their families. However, Mary Lumpkin, a black woman who was Robert's widow, boosted post-Civil War black education in 1867. She rented the complex to a Christian school, which evolved into Virginia Union University, which is not too far from here. All right. So this right here details the city landscape and where we are, which is right here. And this is some work that they did to excavate some of these things. And this is it reconstructed. So the space that I'm at, this is what it would have looked like reconstructed. Actually, no, I'm sorry. This is not right here. This is further over, up the road a little bit. And so that's it reconstructed. All right. So lastly, we'll walk over to the little cabin that you all saw, so you can see what that is. And then I got to get to my destination, because I tend to run late when I'm having a good time out exploring these sites. But you know, I just can't pass up historical markers and opportunities to learn more. And I tell people all the time, you know, when you subscribe to this page or become a member, it's a collective learning thing. This isn't something that, I'm not an expert in history. I'm just a guy that loves history and likes to make it accessible for as many people as possible. And so for you who have given supers and things like that and become members, I greatly appreciate it. But also letting you know that this is a collective thing that we're doing here, to where I'm learning just like you are as well. And so let me turn this around. As you see right here, this is the Winfrey Cottage. And I've seen this numerous times during my visits here. It says that this 2-room house moved to this location in 2002 is the former home of Emily Winfrey, born 1834 to 1919. The house once stood at the intersection of Porter and Commerce Street in South Richmond, in what was then the separate city of Manchester. All right. This cottage was part of a once thriving African-American community organized around the First African Church, which was established in 1820. Now known as the First Baptist Church of South Richmond, where it stood at the corner of 7th and Perry Street. She was one of the thousands of black Richmonders who made the transition from bondage to freedom and made a life in the Reconstruction era in Richmond amidst her extended family and neighbors. Her life story is an intricate narrative of hardship, resilience, and triumph, which was revealed through the unprecedented rescue of her modest cottage. So Winfrey stayed here at this cottage, and I'm glad it was saved. And I'm glad it was saved. You know, we live in a society where old it's not sexy anymore. and it hasn't been for a long time. You go into these cities and they just want to put up shiny buildings and everything, and it just doesn't have any character to it, to me. When you go to some of these cities who just had so much from a historical perspective that lent, diversity to its landscape, and to just knock everything down and only have and build new and shiny things, it just, I don't know, it kind of takes away from the soul of things. And so I wanted to show you all this before I started doing what I needed to do. So thanks for tuning in to this today. Thanks for subscribing. Again, consider becoming a member. It helps a lot when I drive to these places and interview folks. And make sure to watch some of my YouTube long form projects that are on here right now. I just released one the other day about a juke joint. I released one about a historic cemetery this week as well. So I think there's been 2 videos this week that's been released. And so I hope that you all are learning from these different ventures and these different travels that I have. And yeah, happy Saturday. Peace and blessings, y'all. Have a great day too, y'all. Thank you. Peace.